Your Excellencies, representatives of governments, members of the Parliament, companies, international organizations, academia, third sector, members of the media, WIA experts, team, partners and friends. It is with profound gratitude, honest admiration and the deepest sense of responsibility that I stand before you today. First of all, I would like to sincerely thank you for the support in a historic moment for us that we believe will mark a relevant step forward towards international multi-stakeholder collaboration for the implementation of scalable solutions for the UN SDGs through innovation, technology, policy, education, and public-private social partnerships. As we face the negative effects of converging health, economic, and social crises, and we prepare for the fastest transformation in human history due to the emergence and integration of new technologies, the world needs unprecedented collaboration and action to implement tangible solutions for the defining challenges that threaten the very foundations of our well-being and prosperity. 50% of jobs worldwide are expected to change due to automation in the coming decade, and we will experience more change in the next 10 years than in the previous 100, forcing an estimated 1.8 billion people to drastic upskilling or reskilling to adapt to the new job market. 200 million people are currently unemployed, while up to 80% of employers recognize struggles to find talent with their demanded skills. And in a world where 260 million people still don't even have access to education. All while we are dealing with the Great Resignation, the hybrid work revolution, as well as profound transformations in our organizations, leadership and governance structures, as we set the ground for a new type of capitalism amidst calls for reform in our political and education systems. Companies and organizations are facing difficulties to find and retain the right talent with the needed skills, but also pressure from shareholders and short-term financial results. In moments of market shifts, industry disruption, and with the challenge of digitalization, growing competition, and supply chain crisis. We live in a more complex and volatile environment than ever. Loss of trust in our companies and institutions, and cybersecurity risks. Worldwide cybercrime costs will hit $6 trillion this year, and it is projected to reach $10 trillion by 2025. Individuals are facing difficulties to enter the job market and make a living. They're struggling to pay the rent, their studies, their healthcare bills, and their ever more expensive lives. They're facing problems to reskill fast enough to change career paths, to stay relevant in a workplace where automation, robotics, and artificial intelligence are creating massive increases in productivity, but also displacing millions. Employees are seeking meaning and purpose in their careers, but they're facing disengagement from political processes, nihilism, and cynicism, because they find themselves without an important role to create societal contributions and support the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. With less than 10 years to achieve the 2030 vision, 800 million people still live in extreme poverty, and 3.5 billion people still live with less than $5.5 a day. 235 million people are expected to require humanitarian assistance to survive. 125 million girls are sold for sexual exploitation, and human rights violations make life a living hell for hundreds of millions more. Air pollution kills 4.6 million citizens a year. 2.2 billion people still don't have reliable access to clean water. Cancer takes 10 million lives per year, and COVID has already ended more than 5.7 million lives. 40 active conflicts killed hundreds of thousands and turned millions into refugees, and more than 1 million people lose their lives because of violent acts per year. And let us not forget the most painful lessons of our history. The risk of a war is very real, and all act of violence, international tensions, border disputes, extremism, and radicalization can escalate into devastating conflicts and spread at a faster speed than ever before. The world is facing extraordinary challenges, and so is your organization, and you, and all of us. These are not their problems, they're our problems. These problems affect us all, and we all have the responsibility of doing everything we can to use our resources and capabilities to improve the situation, for us and for everyone else. We all face serious risk of losing our jobs, our companies, our industries, our physical and mental well-being, our safety and security, our economic prosperity, and even the very rights that we often take for granted. The pandemic has only worsened the situation, especially for young girls and people in disadvantaged situations, and accelerated trends that were already manifesting themselves in the last years. Despite the magnitude of the challenges we face, there are many reasons for optimism. Reflecting on the progress made, the level of stability, cooperation, education, economic growth, life expectancy, health, and overall welfare state of the world, thinking about the resources at our disposal, about the transformative power of education, technology, policy, and collaboration, we must be certain of our ability to create a better future if we work together. We have the technology, capital, education, healthcare, and infrastructure. We have values, rights, freedoms, laws, institutions, know-how, and a shared vision of what represents a better future. We have committed individuals and organizations, success stories that demonstrate that positive change is possible, like the unprecedented collaboration and research effort that led to the COVID vaccines that have already saved millions of lives. Technologies like robotics, IoT, 3D printing, drones, AI, biotech, extended reality, blockchain, digital payments, and even smartphones and the internet, as well as e-commerce or e-services, can help to lift people out of poverty. Generative design and digital twins help us find optimal solutions for any given task. And all these technologies have the potential of solving, at least partially, many of the biggest challenges we face. And technology will certainly have a central role in the future of work, education, and socio-economic development. The applications of new technologies and the convergences amongst them create unlimited possibilities to improve the world, to improve every industry, every organization, and improve the life of every individual. Technology multiplies our capacity to achieve the SDGs and scales the positive effects of the action of governments, companies, and citizens. But we need to make sure that all the organizations that can influence the future are aligned with the democratic values, that respect the human rights, that support people in need, and that are willing to fight with determination against algorithmic biases and violation of privacy, help protecting our citizens from cyber attacks, and creating a positive convergence between technology and society as innovation accelerates and occupies more and more spheres of our lives. In order to maximize the positive effects of technology and innovation in society and the environment, we need to teach students and professionals of all ages about the available technologies and the potential applications to solve specific problems. We need to provide digital skills, coding, training, data literacy, practical problem-solving education to foster innovation and entrepreneurship. We need to provide the right regulatory frameworks to protect the right of the users and citizens while enabling new innovation and investing in science and research that will lead us to find the most effective solutions for our common challenges. We need a closer connection between innovators, technologies, scientists, researchers, and all the other sectors. We need to create a better understanding and new opportunities for implementation of innovative solutions. The potential of technology for good in areas like financial inclusion and economic development, healthcare, climate change, education, or government services is only limited by our ability to comprehend the true power of the available technology and assess carefully its risk to prevent future problems and negative unintended consequences. Education and technology are vital to address our critical challenges. So is innovation and political reform. We have the opportunity to unleash the untapped potential of organizations and individuals to create a greater good. But profit, incentives, recognition, and aligning interests are key. We're living a paradigm shift towards an impact economy. It is not about making money or making an impact, it is about both. It is about integrating health, impact, and prosperity. According to the United Nations, achieving the SDGs could open up a $12 trillion market opportunity and create 380 million new jobs. And the action on climate change could result in savings of about $26 trillion by 2030. We see commitments by the biggest investors to only finance green and sustainable projects. In 2012, global sustainable investments amounted to a total of $13 trillion. In 2018, that number had jumped to $30 trillion. Over the next decade, that number is expected to reach $150 trillion. Democracy is not only about votes and opinions. Democracy is about co-creation. Millions of organizations and individuals want to be a part of the solution, but oftentimes don't know what they can do, how to do it, or they don't have the right incentives to do so. That is why we need to incentivize the private sector and civil society to contribute in a practical way to the SDGs. I started my career 14 years ago as an intern journalist in an online newspaper. Soon I realized how much suffering there still was. I also started learning about technology and saw some of the solutions for the problems that we're facing. And at the same time, I realized that there were people in the world that were working on social impact, that not only were they focusing on solving problems, but they were making a living out of that. And that really inspired me. And from that moment on, I have always wanted to focus on social impact and technology. But I just realized that I didn't have the experience, the capacity, or even the network to start doing meaningful contributions. My entire life, I have tried to respond to what I believe are the most important questions we can ask ourselves. What is my purpose and my potential? How can I make the biggest positive impact in the world before I die? What should I do for the rest of my life? What would I do if I could do anything, or if I couldn't fail, or if I was not afraid? How can we make the most out of the extraordinary human potential? If we collaborate more effectively, if we optimally leverage the almost unlimited human, technological, and economic resources we have, how much can we achieve if everyone has the right incentives to work on social impact? The World Innovation Alliance is my response to those questions. After a decade working as a consultant in strategy, communication, and international relations for large companies and institutions, I decided to start WIA to bring together organizations and individuals to find and apply specific solutions that are scalable and that are effective to to address the SDGs, with the goal of improving the lives of as many people as possible, aligning stakeholders' interests and connecting people from all over the world with different abilities and different experiences that can all be extremely valuable if put together. WIA was founded with the goal of empowering any individual or organization to create a greater positive impact, and with the mission of improving and expanding access to education, healthcare, and economic development. In order to fulfill its mission, WIA helps governments and enterprises to maximize growth, resource optimization, and positive impact through services, training, public affairs, technology, and multi-stakeholder project development, using more than 200 innovative growth models designed to leverage network engagement and technology to solve their priority problems, help them achieve their goals while expanding the positive contributions they can do for society and the environment. And all based on the principles of for-profit social impact, or doing well by doing good. To that end, WIA has brought together a network of more than 1,000 experts from 150 different countries, distributed in 10 thematic commissions focused on impact innovation, technology for good, education, economic development, health, communication, security, tourism, public sector, environment and biodiversity, and human rights. A network of remarkable business and government leaders, researchers, doctors, engineers, executives, investors, and entrepreneurs. A network with teachers, journalists, celebrities, influencers, authors, and programmers. A project where analysts, as well as specialists in defense, cybersecurity, disruptive technologies, sustainability, poverty reduction, and human rights can work together and use their expertise to improve the state of the world. Just think of the potential of 1 billion travelers contributing to local communities as part of their trips, while helping sustainably recover the tourism industry after the pandemic. Think about the importance of technology and engineering to create and scale solutions at a global level. The need for new regulations, decisive leadership, and policies to benefit society. The importance of education to create economic prosperity. The role of the financial industry to fight poverty, foster innovation and entrepreneurship. And the need for communication, culture, and entertainment to spread the message and raise awareness of what needs to be done, how it can be done, and what everyone can gain from it. The need of accelerating healthcare research and providing access to healthcare worldwide. The existential imperative to protect our environment and biodiversity. The crucial necessity of maintaining peace and protecting human rights to allow humanity to flourish. Commissions designed to leverage the potential of impact of all the different industries and different sectors while combining efforts together. So what is the World Innovation Alliance? An innovation and a social impact network. It is an incubator of impactful projects and ventures, an impact, tech, and CSR consultancy, a lobby for good, an open university, an executive education school for all ages. It is a connector between industries, countries, and organizations. It is an umbrella project to empower everyone to make an impact. We're a small company with a big mission, an extraordinary network, effective solutions, and innovative models to make the world better in measurable ways while benefiting all the parties involved. We are and we will become anything we need in order to fulfill our mission of creating the largest positive impact in the world without work. Today, we unite representatives of some of the world's largest organizations, individuals from all backgrounds, races, religions, cultures, and ages that share a common aspiration of a more effective collaboration and an even more active role in the co-creation of a better future. Today, we inaugurate the World Innovation Alliance Network. We share our action plan, the WIA Impact Innovation Global Summit, and we announce the Skills for Growth and Connections for Growth initiatives to upskill 1 million people and create 200,000 connections to foster jobs, innovation, and entrepreneurship. WIA's action will be developed under the Impact Innovation Project, a global and comprehensive action plan to improve and expand access to education, economic development, and health. An initiative that includes upskilling programs, advocacy campaigns to introduce solutions, best practices, and policies to key public and private decision makers. An ambitious networking and matching program to foster connections to create direct opportunities, and a global communication campaign, the Improve Yourself, Improve the World campaign, to empower citizens to be a part of the solution of the SDGs in exchange of rewards. I feel extremely lucky to be alive, to be healthy and secure, to have a family that has always loved me and supported me, and a father, may his soul rest in peace, as the best possible role model I could ever ask for. My mentor and best friend did his best to inspire in me the very values that I see the world needs the most, and that are embodied in many of the leaders and organizations represented here today. Responsibility, respect, leadership, generosity, empathy, integrity, hard work, kindness, humility, and honesty. Values that I do my best to live by, even knowing that I often fail, since I'm just another flawed, ignorant, and limited human being. I recognize nonetheless that even though we cannot decide our starting point or what happens to us, we have control over our thoughts, our words, and our actions. We have the capacity of directing our lives towards valuable goals and the power to determine part of our destiny. I understand that in the same way that we have the potential for evil, we can do good. That knowing the painful truth of all the suffering that still exists in the world, knowing that things can be better and that we can actually improve them, we have the responsibility to become the best we can be and do everything we can to improve ourselves and improve the world. I firmly believe that we have the capacity of making meaningful contributions to improving the state of the world if we work together. And if there's anything we can do to make things better, we must try. No matter who you are and what challenges you're facing, you have a great potential for growth and for impact. Our decisions, our thoughts, our words and actions matter. We have the power to influence the lives of many. Let us leverage our positions, resources, influence, and expertise to make the biggest contributions we can. Let us assume full responsibility, be the best we can be, help as many people as possible before we die, and live a life worth dying for.